think census-level data is very much a reality now, including that in infusing it into the data. It's been a part of the Netherlands online currency for over a year now. And in fact, they've had advertising as well as programming in there for almost a year. So it's very much a reality. It's happening in the Netherlands from an online perspective only. About to happen in Norway. This year is their year of preparation, and in January 2018, Norway will have a currency that includes online and offline, out of home as well. So I think incorporating census data is absolutely now a part of reality and no longer a dream, something that we're working towards doing and that we are doing every day in the Netherlands. So it's very much something that can be done on a daily basis as a part of the currency. I think the next step, if you like, I'd say there's two next steps in that direction. One next step further on census is getting more people involved. It is something that involves participation by the part of the broadcaster in its widest sense. So it would be great to see other parties, people like YouTube and Facebook and Netflix, get engaged with this. It's a transparent and auditable process, and so it gives great credibility. I think it would give credibility to them and the figures that they produce as much as it would help the industry as a whole. So there's further to go on census, but the actual doing it, producing it, putting it out there every day is absolutely achievable and happening. I think the other direction is leaving census to one side. That's online. It adds a lot to it, but actually the vast majority of people still watch television on a TV set because they want to watch on the biggest screen they can. So the next frontier, if you like, is taking what we've learned about integrating that type of census big data set to integrating RPD data sets or set-top box data sets, again, into an everyday currency. Lots of the same principles apply. You have to work with that big data. It doesn't come pure. It's not perfect. You have to do some work with it, and you need to integrate it into the core panel. We still think a core panel's at the heart, but that's the next great territory.
So Margo, could you explain to people who are not that familiar with Kantar where you sit in terms of the TV planning and attribution world? Where you sit and how you function?
So, well, Kantar Media, Kantar is a huge organization which offers things across the spectrum from what I core do, which is I work in part of Kantar Media Audiences that works on the currency data, that does television and radio in some markets, currency data to provide the daily figures on which people plan and buy. There are other parts of Kantar that do other elements of the planning and buying cycle. So TGI is also a part of Kantar Media, and many planners use that to think about how do they identify the right segments and audiences for advertisers. And then at the other end, and you follow it all the way through the other end of the spectrum, you have people like Kantar Millward Brown who do advertising, testing and assessment. So I guess throughout the whole life cycle, I'm sort of at that point at the beginning where we're doing the ratings, beginning or end. It's a circle probably more than anything else, where it is actually saying how much people watched.
And finally, Margo, as people gather here to sort of discuss the future of TV ads, advertising, in a TV advertising in tremendous transition, some could say disruption. What are the buy side and the sell side looking to Kantar to solve?
I think they want the thing they probably always wanted. So more data, but also more insight. So I think those two things are key. So I think definitely more data, more granular, the better, the more that it gives them. And I think we begin to see the elements of wanting to say, how can we incorporate some of this into programmatic systems? That's not possible in every market. It really depends on the market situation, but that is questions we're being asked and looking into that. So that's from the data side. How can we measure more? How can we measure it in a more granular way? Some markets work on real time, so there are, the same as there's real time bidding, there's some markets in South America who do real time ratings. So all of those elements from a data perspective. But at the other end of it as well, from the wider Kantar perspective, we get asked a lot to talk about what does it mean? So we have all of this data, how do we interpret it? What's the right way to use it? What's the best way to make sense of it? And I think that will always be a critical issue.